As France celebrates Bastille Day, we thought it would be appropriate to present a program of French and French-inspired music. We start with a masterpiece by Claude Debussy, the Prelude to the Afternoon of a Faun. To me, this piece is the quintessential expression of French Impressionism, the perfect example of an aesthetic that unified all of the arts in France at the turn of the last century. Romanticism was dying away, and the 20th century was going to bring a very fierce new modernism to the world. But in the twilight of Romanticism came a fragile, luminous period of music filled with a kind of iridescent beauty, French Impressionism. Claude Debussy was at the Salon where his friend, the great symbolist poet Stéphane Mallarmé, actually presented his poem, The Prelude to the Afternoon of a Faun. After he read it, he said to Debussy, "Claude, I want you to know that my poem comes from music." And Debussy responded to his friend Stéphane, "Well then, let me return it to music." The poem centers on a mythological creature, a faun, F-A-U-N, half man and half goat, a simple sensuous being who wakes up in the woods and tries to remember, was he actually visited by those three beautiful nymphs, or was that a dream? He ponders this, he plays on his panpipe. The sun is warm, the earth is fragrant. He curls up and falls asleep again. Listen to this dreamy music of the faun as Christine Davis plays the beautiful flute solo at the opening. That opening is the line of poetry that says, "A single line of sound, aloof, disinterested." This wonderful piece opens the world of French Impressionism to us. André Mathieu's name is not nearly as well known as it deserves to be. This extraordinary composer was a phenomenal child prodigy. He began to write music in Montreal, his birthplace, at the age of 4, and at 6 presented a full-length recital filled with his own music. At the age of 11, he was awarded first prize in a composition competition by the New York Philharmonic. And at age 14, he wrote the piece that you're about to hear. He's often called the Canadian Mozart, but as you listen to his music, you'll understand that the sound world of this is much closer to some other composers that he admired, Scriabin and Rachmaninoff. Due to a very difficult life and his own personal demons, Mathieu died very young at 39. Thanks to the brilliant French-Canadian pianist Alain Lefebvre, we know his music. Alain has found this wonderful music and has championed it tirelessly. You will hear him play perhaps the greatest concerto of Mathieu, his third concerto, the Concerto de Quebec, with the BPO in a brilliant performance. Not French, but inspired by the City of Light, and composed by one of our country's greatest geniuses, An American in Paris is a classic in every sense of the word. George Gershwin was born to Russian immigrant parents. His real name was Jacob Gershowitz. And from a very young age, he exhibited an astonishing talent for blending classical music and jazz in the most unpretentious, organic, irresistible way, giving us such treasures as Rhapsody in Blue and Concerto in F and Porgy and Bess. Many people have seen the movie An American in Paris, and they assume that George Gershwin wrote the soundtrack for that movie. But actually the opposite was true. George Gershwin visited Paris in 1928, actually went to see Milhaud and Prokofiev and Ravel, and he wrote this piece as kind of a musical souvenir, a postcard of his time in Paris. And these are his words. "My purpose was to portray the impressions of an American visitor in Paris as he strolls around the city, listens to the various street noises, and absorbs the French atmosphere. The piece was so beloved that the movie was created for An American in Paris. The BPO has the perfect personality for this piece, American muscle and vitality, but also the warmth and beauty of sound that makes this performance a treasure.